Hello, fellow historians. Welcome back to another episode of Documenting History. We're here on the corner of Vernon Avenue and Crooks Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey. Some of you may know already that WCBS 880 in New York is changing its format. So these are the final days of WCBS 880. I believe it's going to be about 2 weeks left from this point, and then it's changing to a whole new format. So the news radio is shutting down. We still have 1010 wins, which is the bulk of our videos. If you just landed on this channel, our purpose is to document history for future generations. And yes, I know this is not the most exciting or the most entertaining type of video on YouTube. However, I do feel it's important to document our local history by way of listening to snippets of a news broadcast for any given day, especially if I've been recording. I think it's pretty cool that someone 30 years from now can go back to a random day 30 years ago, click on this video, and kind of see what was going on in the local New York City area. And I do have people who say, well, the news is always on the internet. Yeah, usually the big news, the national news is on the internet. But there's nothing like listening to the actual live broadcast of any specific event. So for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be concentrating on the final days. This is episode 2 of WCBS 880 Final Days. And let's get right into it.
WCBS News Time, 8:28. It's time for traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8th. Tom Kaminsky.
And, Bud, we've got vehicles slipping over all over the place now suddenly on a dry, sunny day. The eastbound side of the LIE. We're just getting word now of an overturned vehicle eastbound at 106.7 at exit 41. We've got the right and center lanes closed at that spot. The westbound side is going to be slow in that area, too. So, northern state, you can use that. The southern state, in Suffolk County, we have a collision off to the shoulder. It's straight path, but at least it sounds like all the vehicles are up on all wheels there. The other problem is in New Jersey, and it's been there all morning long on the northbound side of Route 287, approaching South Street, Morristown, exit 34, an overturned cement mixer. We still have only the right lane getting by there, and out of Rockland into Westchester, all lanes have just now reportedly been reopened on the Westchester County-bound Cuomo-Tappan Zee Bridge. Overturned tractor trailer there. We had a debris spill on the roadway. That is reportedly now all open, but again, very heavy from at least the area of the Garden State Parkway. I'm Tom Kaminsky, the WCBS Traffic Center.
Sunshine for today, a few clouds mixing in, sun, albeit a little hazy as we were discussing before from smoke, but seasonably warm, highs up around 85. Tonight's low 65 to 70, 60 to 65 in the suburbs. And tomorrow, sun mixing with clouds, just a chance of a shower in a couple of places, and highs will be in the mid-80s right now in the city at 69 degrees.
That's Craig Allen this morning at 8:30.
Your radio home for Mets baseball.
Put up the book!
This is WCBS 880 News. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman will sign into law today the first in the nation face covering ban.
Where's inflation going? We're going to find the number, the July inflation data coming in momentarily, and we'll see how the markets do today.
State representative from Stanford loses her primary after making some anti-Semitic remarks.
Congressman Ilhan Omar survives a primary challenge in Minnesota as a member of the squad.
The Biden administration is stepping up pressure on Hamas to attend new ceasefire talks with Israel.
Juan Soto's 3-run home runs helped the Yankees beat the White Sox 4-1. Mets lose. This fourth in a row now for the Mets. They fell to the A's last night 9-4.
69 degrees on a pretty nice day out the door this morning on this Wednesday, August 14th. Good morning, I'm Bud Mishkin, filling in for Wayne Cabot.
Yeah, we have some inflation numbers just in right now over the past 12 months. 2.9% increase. We were expecting 3. So we're just below with the July Consumer Price Index right now where we thought we would be, up 0.2% as expected. But over the last 12 months, inflation in this country running at 2.9%. So that's just a little bit lower than we expected. So these numbers just coming in as we unravel the inflation numbers just coming in for last month.
WCBS News Time, 8:31. Covering your face with a mask other than religion or a medical condition is about to become illegal in Nassau County. WCBS Long Island Bureau Chief
Sophia Hall.
This bill will be signed into law later today. It will ban a person from wearing a mask in public here in Nassau County unless you are wearing it for religious or health purposes. Supporters say it will prevent people from wearing a mask to commit a hate or other crime, but there are many against this ban, including Jody Cass-Finkel of Nassau Residents for Good Government. She says the law will get overturned.
It essentially makes police officers essentially read people's minds to determine what's the intent? Why is somebody wearing a face mask? How inappropriate is that? I mean, besides it being unconstitutional.
The police commissioner says officers will not just go up to a person and arrest them. They will ask questions first and talk to them and find out why they are wearing a mask. In Nassau County, Sophia Hall, WCBS 880 News.
It's 8:33, and Stanford Democrats are calling for a state representative in the city to resign after she made anti-Semitic comments that may have played a role in her defeat in yesterday's primaries in Connecticut. Here's Sean Adams.
On the day that Jonathan Jacobson won the Democratic primary, he received an apology from his opponent, State Representative Annabelle Figueroa. During an interview in Spanish, she said a person of Jewish origin should not represent our community.
It still hasn't fully hit me, either the victory or the victimization from an anti-Semitic standpoint, but I am truly inspired because the condemnation has been swift.
Jacobson says Figueroa's apology is a start toward healing. Figueroa explains she misspoke. She was trying to say Connecticut needs more Latino representation. She's deeply sorry. Jacobson wants her to resign. She has declined. In Stanford, Sean Adams, WCBS 880 News.
WCBS News Time, 8:33. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has won her primary race in Minnesota. She defended her seat against a challenge from former city council member Don Samuels. Omar is a House member of the Progressive Squad, which saw two other members, Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, lose their primaries earlier this year. Omar will face Republican Dalia Al-Aqidi, an Iraqi-American journalist and self-prescribed secular Muslim who calls Omar pro-Hamas. A new round of Gaza ceasefire talks is set to take place tomorrow in Qatar, but Hamas says it won't attend.
Another setback for Middle East ceasefire efforts. A Hamas representative confirms to CBS News that it will not send a delegation to tomorrow's planned talks. The group is accusing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of not negotiating in good faith and using talks to prolong the war. Yesterday, Hamas released a video of rockets launched toward Tel Aviv, though Israel's military says they did not reach their targets.
WCBS is Jared Hill there, by the way. WCBS News Time, 8:34. Back in our area, police are looking for at least two suspects involved in an overnight attack near Central Park. Reporter Glenn Schuck with the story.
Unfortunately, it has happened again. Another mugging. This time, two 20-year-old men had gold chains and vape pens stolen as they were walking about 11:15 last night here, West 62nd and the West Drive in the entrance to the park. Mayor Adams was just talking about this at his weekly media briefing yesterday.
We can do a better job in using drones to police the area from the sky.
At a time when robberies at Central Park are up 200% compared to this time last year. Now, the suspects in this latest incident, teens between 16 and 17 years old, at least two of them. Glenn Schuck, WCBS 880 News.
Tropical storm Ernesto is dumping torrential rains on Puerto Rico after battering the Northeast Caribbean yesterday. That storm system is also threatening other islands as it is strengthened by unusually warm waters. CBS's Manuel Bajorquez.
Overnight, tropical storm Ernesto slammed Puerto Rico's east coast, packing with it heavy rain, flash flooding, and sustained winds up to 70 miles per hour. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, Puerto Ricans got a preview of Ernesto's arrival as officials urged people to stay indoors and off the roads.
We are particularly warning tourists and our own population to stay away from the ocean.
That's the governor of Puerto Rico. President Biden has declared a state of emergency on the island. WCBS News Time, 8:36. Campaign 2024 on WCBS. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz made his first solo campaign appearance since being chosen by Vice President Harris to be her running mate. At an event before union members in Los Angeles, he defended himself against Republican attacks on his military service record.
I'm going to say it again as clearly as I can. I am damn proud of my service to this country.
Walz says he firmly believes you should never denigrate another person's service record. Walz did not directly address J.D. Vance's claims that he had misrepresented his record to include combat. The Harris campaign says Walz misspoke.
And former President Donald Trump will deliver an economic speech in North Carolina later on.
Trump is ramping up his campaign schedule with a rally Wednesday in Asheville, North Carolina, slated to focus on the economy before rallying supporters on Saturday in northeastern Pennsylvania, 2 days before the Democratic National Convention kicks off in Chicago.
At CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry, and the rally is set for 4 p.m.
WCBS News Time, 8:37. Traffic and weather together up next.
This is the story of the one.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to the second episode of WCBS 880 Final Days series. I thank you guys for your views, your loyal viewership. I ask that you please share the videos. Let folks know that we're documenting history in the northern New Jersey area. And I want to thank my 15 fellow historians who have subscribed. Your support is appreciated more than you know. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode.